quick intro. So I already told you guys I'm going to talk to them. Basically, I'm putting this together to show policyholders that this is a legitimate process. A lot of people start off super guarded. Catherine, I'll have you speak on that. But a lot of people have the problem with the unknown. You know, they've never been through it. They don't know if it's legitimate. And long story short, it is legitimate. Obviously, it's a court process, but I want them to hear it from clients, right? And it's perfect that I got you as well, Catherine, because there's going to be a lot of scenarios where a parent is heavily involved, which is always welcomed. So I'll have you start, and then I'll have Christina speak a little bit. I'm going to have you start with like what initially happened in your overall experience.
Yeah, hi, I'm Catherine. I'm Christina's mother. So when Christina was a toddler, she ended up getting lead poisoned, and I filed a lawsuit, and we won the case. And when it was close to her 18th birthday, like I'm fast forwarding, but when it got to her 18th birthday, we had someone contact us, which is Jared, regarding his company and what they might be able to do to help us out. And of course, my daughter was like, "Mom, someone called me regarding, the what is it, the court
Structured
payments,
settlement. Yeah.
the structured settlement, which was about to be dispersed, how it was initially planned when she was a toddler." And we met Jared. So my daughter did an appointment, and Jared ended up coming to our house. And of course, I was skeptical. I'm like, oh gosh, these two guys in my house. But it turned out good, and that's why we're here. And we were able to, he ran us some numbers regarding what the settlement was, and how he might be able to help Christina get a large amount of her monies up front. And we were very scared and skeptical, especially me, and I was open to it. That's why I let them come to my house. And once they sat down with us, I was like, wow, this sounds really interesting. And it sounds like too good to be true, but it is true.
It
Um,
happens a lot. So I'm glad you said that.
it happens a lot. So my daughter ended up getting a large portion of her settlement, and she ended up buying a house. We were supposed to buy a house and get a loan, but we ended up buying a house cash, and we just pay taxes on it every year. And she used the other money to invest in other properties and other things. So we were really happy to do that. Right now, Christina's in Florida, and I'm in New York because we run daycares here. We have 5 programs. So I'm here now, but Christina's house is paid off. She's the only 22-year-old that I know that she was able to get her funds and do that, and she invested in other properties, and it was thanks to their company. I'm a
and not
legitimate
to cut you
person.
off, but the equity in the house is like
Oh
impressive,
my
and
God.
just in a couple years, she has, I think it's what, is it like 300 grand in equity or what is it?
It's almost $300,000 in
Yeah.
equity that we currently have on that house. I mean,
No,
it's
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 like
amazing.
150. It's
No, it's
150,000.
more because that you got the house. It was at four
You were,
something, and it's
yeah,
six something,
425 and it's worth like around 700.
six,
It's
almost
over 250.
700.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we're happy that money's there. It has the equity. The house is paid off, and she was able to do what she wanted to do, was invest in properties, and then eventually get like another source of income through those rentals and stuff like that. So we're super happy we did it. We didn't trust them. We have a good relationship because we still follow up with each other. Hey, how you guys doing? And we went back and we met them, and we go out to eat when we're in town. So yeah, they are 100% legitimate. Like, you know,
It's
we're
crazy to think
happy
that
that
that this is, we're talking about 2020, that's 2020, I think,
that's
going into
incredible.
2021,
That's
right?
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
It's
Christina
crazy
had
that
just turned
it's been that long.
18.
That it's crazy.
It's
Like, it's
incredible.
insane to me.
Incredible. But
So
yeah, these people are 100% legitimate. Like, it's an amazing opportunity to do great things, and you can entrust them with their company and what they say they're gonna do. They pull through 100%.
Man on my word. But yeah, so look, obviously it's a court process. You guys know that, but a lot of them probably don't, you know? So, and even with that being said, it still was hard to trust it. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Mhm.
it is a court process, but you still have the uncertainty, especially look, it's a big decision. We're talking big money that you guys got. So it's completely understandable. It's not like it's a shock to me that people have trust issues, but I'm glad that we do have the relationship we had and have, I
Yeah,
should say. And, you
absolutely.
know, it's awesome that we're still talking. But so, Christina, if you don't mind, I know you're quiet, but if you don't mind sharing your experience, just again, it does not have to be anything long, and you could talk openly, just like your mom did. If you were uncertain at any time or whatever it is, just talk a little bit, and that's it. I'll stop torturing you.
I feel like for me, honestly, what sold it and getting back in the mind space of that time frame was like Jared was willing to play Call of Duty with me. Like we literally played Call of Duty, and like I feel like it made it feel less of a transaction and more of a connection. Like I feel like he didn't look at me like a number. It was more of like a connection, and I feel like we all had jokes and we went out to eat. So that's really what it was for me. Like I don't like just feeling like a transaction. And it was like I feel like everything was like baby steps, and I was like my hand was held through the process. Like, hey, I got you. Like, you're gonna speak to a lawyer. If anything happens, like, don't worry, you're covered. Like, everything's gonna be okay. So, um, I think,
I wanted to add something really quick that I just remembered.
Go
I
ahead.
think that when you do that at the those court proceeding things, I remember you explaining to the judge why it's good to give that advancement. And when you invest and you have the equity and you're going to make money off of that, they see it as an opportunity for the future, policyholder, that they'll be able to gain more money through those investments and things like that
Yeah, there's
versus,
always got to be. Look, at the end of the day, I keep saying this. I've done this is like the 10th one I've done with clients, and I'm going to keep saying it because it's true. It's not always going to make sense for everybody to change the structure. It's just not. That's a reality. If you guys were in a unique position where it didn't start yet, so you can't rely on it. If you were in a situation where you're struggling and she relied on the money, I would never be able to propose what I did. So
yeah,
to answer your question, yeah, you always have to be super detailed when you're presenting this to the judge because
yeah,
they're not stupid. They know if it makes sense or it doesn't make sense, and it's just not going to get approved. And that's what I try to explain to people is like there is zero harm in understanding your options, and then if it makes sense, it makes sense. If it doesn't, I'm not going to waste my time. You know what I mean? So
I,
yeah,
f-
absolutely.
I
that's
feel
why
like
I go ahead, Christina.
I was gonna say, I feel like it made sense for our goals because of my age. Like, I wanted to buy a house, and the way my settlement was structured was I wouldn't be able to get into a house unless I got approved for a loan. And being that I was 18, like, I don't really think that was really
Yeah,
an option. So it made sense for me wanting to be a homeowner. So that's why it worked out for us.
for sure. And
Yeah,
again, like
definitely.
when you're still so young, but when you are ready, you could start doing what we initially discussed and using your equity to get more homes or whatever you want to
Hmm.
do, you know?
Hmm.
So
Exactly.
there's a bunch more benefits that can come from it, but obviously
Absolutely.
I know people's attention spans, like I said in the beginning, they're not going to be watching much past this. So I mainly just wanted to hear your guys' experience, and I think that's what they want to hear too. They don't really care what I have to say, to be honest. So I'm glad you guys, shared that you did have the trust
Yeah.
factor in the beginning and stuff like that. And Christina, like you already know, like we stay in touch. We've stayed in touch this whole time. It's been a long
Hmm.
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
Hmm.
it's like that with everyone. I keep saying it's almost impossible to not build a relationship unless you're just like a heartless person because I
Yeah.
don't know, like you get close. You talk a
Yeah.
lot. You
You
talk
do.
nonstop. Like she
Yeah.
said, we play Call of Duty and like just just joke. Like but at the end of the day, it is a big decision. So we always made sure that we still stayed locked in as far as the plan goes, and like she said, having her attorney, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So professional when you have to be, but I exactly what you said. You're not just a number because you know us, you've seen us, and obviously we're a smaller shop, like we're mom and pop is what you would consider due to our size, but I want to stay that way. Like I don't
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
I have no desire to try to get big and be doing commercials. I'm doing this, but I'm doing everything. Like I'm editing, you know what I mean? Like so we don't have that type of funds allocated to do that, and I don't want to be that person. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because that's how I treat the business, and that's how I have all my reps treat the business. So it was perfectly said.
And Jared,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that you secured Christina's future.
I appreciate
Yeah.
You
that.
did that. You secured her future because she's still interested. This was just like a stepping stone.
Hmm.
And she had other things that she invested in, and she's still waiting around for other stuff. She's still so young. But of course, she had me as her mother to help and guide. And, we all met, and everything just felt very genuine. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I ended up saying, you know what? Oh, excuse me.
Oh,
This
There
would
she
be
is.
great for Christina's future. So,
So yeah, again, like you're what I noticed, I've been doing this for a decade now, believe it or not. So what I notice is, like, with parents, they're either like you, like where they're like hyper involved and they actually have the child's, I mean, we've talked about this before, but they actually have the child's best interest. And then there's the other side where I don't always know, you know what I mean? So she had the added benefit of you, you're
yeah.
smart. You guys had a plan, you stuck to it, you made sure she didn't do anything dumb with the money. So it was very helpful. Sometimes if a parent is not that way, it's not easy. You already know.
oh,
So
it turns into chaos.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Just worried about them. So I'm glad that it went how it went, obviously. And as always, I'm still gonna remain in contact and check in. Christina already knows that, and I'll be
Yeah.
transparent on if it makes sense or doesn't make sense, which we already kind of decided doesn't make sense to look into it again. So yeah, that's really all. That's really all. I don't want to torture you any more than I have. The only thing I'm going to do is screen share. Like I said, I'll show the redacted docs real quick, just so they could see, like, this is a real person. I didn't hire
Yes.
two
Yeah.
people and have them get on Zooms
Absolutely.
and have them do a fake
Correct.
New York accent or anything. All right, so all right,
This
all right, hold
accent
on.
is
I'm gonna screen share real quick. 1 second. Okay. So again, it's redacted for good reason, but you could see the initials. Obviously, you could kind of do the math there. I'm not going to sit and show all the legal jargon, but I just want to show that, like, this is actually, real documents. These are court documents. You have to follow state statutes depending on where you live, and that's it. It's a relatively simple process overall. As far as the court process goes, Christina, you would say it was relatively simple. It was smooth. Like, the
it
judge just
was.
wanted to make sure that you were making
Yeah.
sound okay. Yeah. So a lot of
It
people
was.
get super intimidated by the fact that it's court, but, like, that's for your protection, and you should want it to be that way ultimately. So other than that, that's really it. I'm so glad that you guys took the time. I appreciate you. You guys already know. So if you guys don't have anything else, that's it. I'm gonna stop it here and we'll call it a day. But you guys can stay on because I want to talk to you for a sec.